5:30 and time for our regular meeting. We'll start that with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Here.
Commissioner Barwick.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Steckland.
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. Would you all stand and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 3 on the agenda is our opportunity for public comments. And this is the opportunity for anybody in the audience to address the council, subject to a couple of ordinances, 3128 and 3134, which govern this part of the meeting. Anybody like to speak to the council this evening? Yes, sir. Mind coming up to the podium?
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Swayze. I'm a family practice nurse practitioner, and I work in the city of Marion. I want to tell you that I am very appreciative of the ordinance that was passed at the last meeting banning the sale of kratom. I have lost a patient due to suicide. I have 3 patients who I am very desperately trying to help them come off of the medication. I've spoken to multiple behavioral health specialists across the nation, and they're recommending is inpatient therapy. Finding inpatient therapy in this area, I can't. One of them, fortunately, had the money and was able to go to an inpatient therapy in Nevada. So, also you don't know this, but I am a village trustee for Pittsburgh. We are going to present that before ordinance change at our upcoming meeting. But I appreciate the work that you guys have done. This is something that is so rare. I also work in the emergency department. You can test for it, but you have to do a very specific test. You have to have an idea that they may be on it. And for this not to be regulated, this is ridiculous. I have written some position statements that I'm hoping gets it at least at the state level regulated, because there has to be something. It destroys people's, it is almost as addictive as cocaine or heroin, just from what I've seen in my little scope of things. So all I wanted was just to verbalize my appreciation that you guys have done this, and I hope it goes further.
Quick question.
Yes,
Are there any places locally that a person can reach out for help? You mentioned a clinic in Nevada.
Not that I have. The problem is the funding. There's not a whole lot of funding, and most of the places who do inpatient have a 6 to 9 month waiting list. By the time it gets down to those people, they found someplace else, they no longer have the money, they no longer have the desire, or they're dead. Most of the time. But
It's a shame.
there are, most of the places that are within our state are more for mandated inpatient. Those get in quicker. There's a place in Granite City that last time I checked was a 6 to 7 month waiting list. I believe the name of it is Lincoln Land around Springfield. Last time I checked with them, it was a 12-month waiting list. So it's just.
So is this a process where you go there, check in, and stay for an extended length of time?
Yes, sir. Because the problem is when somebody tries to come off of kratom, they go into severe withdrawals. It is what I have witnessed. One patient coming into the ER in withdrawals was just as severe as somebody coming off of cocaine, coming off of heroin, coming off of meth. Or even just alcohol. The shakes, the tremors, the nausea, the hallucinations, everything that they go through, it's just unreal. I was surprised at how many places actually sold it. And until 6 months ago, I didn't even know about it. Anybody else have any questions for me?
Do you feel like when you talk to other people in your profession that you're not on an island with this in your practice?
No.
I assume.
It is becoming more and more predominant. I had a patient who is also a provider today, and we were talking about it, and they said, similar to me, they hadn't known much about it until 6-9 months ago, and they're seeing people who just can't get off of it. And the problem is it's marketed as a tea. So everybody thinks, oh, well, you know, it helps your memory, it helps this, and they don't talk about the addiction to it and everything else and all the other problems that come with it. Are there good benefits to it? I don't know. There's not enough research on it.
Do you have any sense of why in the last 6 to 9 months it's become so, at least to your, within your practice, why it's become so prevalent? What happened?
I think it became more available. I don't, and maybe I'm mistaken. Well, for example, the one who committed suicide, I didn't know that he was even on it until after the fact. His former employer reached out to me, his widow reached out to me, and she didn't know until a couple weeks before that he had been on it. Could I have done anything? I don't know. I'd like to think I could have tried, but I honestly, if the availability is more, because I didn't even know to look for it. I went around. There is one of the 2 convenience stores in Pittsburgh that sells it, but it doesn't, you have to look in very small print on the box. It says Kratom. The rest of it talks about 7, whatever the other name of it is. But it doesn't even say Kratom on most things for it anymore. So I know people that were taking the older dosages of it seem to do okay with it, but I don't know if maybe it's stronger now. I don't know.
No. Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate your
much.
input. Anyone else? We'll move on to new business. Item 5, Commissioner Barwick. Oh, skip this consent. We only have one thing on the consent agenda, item 4, and that's the minutes from the last city council meeting on May 12th. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Any additions or corrections to those minutes? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Okay, now item 5A, Commissioner Barwick.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 4043, directing the sale of surplus vehicles. At the police department, we have several. I'll let the chief more details on it.
We have 3 vehicles that are seized vehicles, and when you seize a vehicle and when it's awarded to you, you must hang on to it for a minimum of 1 year. These 3 vehicles have passed that time frame. We have no use for them. We have had people that have expressed interest, so we put it out. We advertised it for 10 days, put it up for bid. We received bids on all 3. Highest bidder wins, and just waiting for your approval.
Do we have those bids? I don't have them in my packet.
Lieutenant Dwyer has them, I don't have them. But
Okay,
there was-
so we know what the high bids are and who they are to be awarded to.
Yes,
We're
sir.
just authorizing you to execute that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How many more days is the bidding process?
It's
Is
done,
over?
it ended
Okay.
Friday.
Okay.
And there was only 1 bid per vehicle.
Was it all the same bidder?
2 of the vehicles was, and a separate person on the 3rd one.
Okay. Do you know what those amounts are, or does Lieutenant Dwyer know those only?
For the Ford Ranger truck, 900. For the Dodge Charger, 5,000. And the Ford Focus, I don't have that one with me. I'll ask Lieutenant Dwyer, but it's 1,000 maybe.
Okay. We have a second on that one?
Not yet.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay. Any discussion on 5A? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6A, Commissioner Barwick.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of a new Can-Am SSV Def Max LED for emergency response operations. This is a side-by-side vehicle.
I'll second. Chief?
Just if there was any questions, anybody have any questions or the need?
Well, I think you can speak to the need more
Well-
eloquently than I can, but we both experienced it real time together on
I mean,
Friday,
it's-
May 16th, so.
Like I told the commissioner and you, every time there's a storm or an emergency situation, we learn from it. And we learned that day that we had a deficiency there, and we've got a lot of terrain and rough areas around here, and we need it, not only for us, for police, EMS. I think it'll help everybody, and I can see the future, maybe getting another one someday, but you know the value. You saw it firsthand, and we just,
I also learned what commandeering one was,
yeah, you did. We commandeered lots of stuff.
because we commandeered one together.
We did, but like I said, I appreciate the opportunity, and I was glad you got to see firsthand. I hope we don't have to use the thing. I hope
Oh,
it
me
sits
too.
there. But I appreciate it.
The good thing about it, where the tornado did hit, people in those areas had these. Had that been in the city limits, we probably wouldn't have had access to any of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to maneuver around.
I will say this while I've got the mic. Get to know your neighbor, because the people, although my guys, the police, the street department, unbelievable what Marion Street Department did, but the people is what saved those people's lives, the bulk of it. People working, it was unbelievable. And you guys have seen it in the tornadoes in the past, and I've been to several of them, and it's just unbelievable the amount of work those, people did to help their neighbor. But anyway, just thought I'd add that. They deserve a pat on the back.
Well, there are a lot of people that deserve a pat on the back. I think Cody wants to speak to that a little bit later about his personal experience, but I'll not take his opportunity away to do that. But relative to this specific situation, these side-by-sides, four-wheelers, were absolutely critical and instrumental when you're off looking for people in houses, and there was no other way to get there.
And we do have one, a smaller one.
Yeah, well,
Just to be able to haul multiple people.
Right. Okay, any further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, items 7, A, B, and C are all related. This is a sequential action to the hearing that we had, I think, before the last meeting in order to actually remove some parcels and add some parcels to the North Commercial TIF district. So the three ordinances, 44, 45, 46, are all related to that. Do you want to briefly touch on what each of these does? If not, we'll just
Yeah, it's
Go
the
right
same as
there.
if we were establishing a new TIF. There's always a set of three ordinances that correspond with amending a TIF in this scenario. The first, well, really all three of them really just change the maps in those ordinances that are on the books for the city forever, and highlights the areas that were removed and added and the purposes therein. We talked about it at length previously, but I can go over any questions you guys have about the why if necessary.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 4044, approving the third amendment to the redevelopment agreement plan and projects for the Marion North Commercial TIF district.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Someone else want to read item 7B, please?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 4045, designating the amended redevelopment project area for the third amendment to the Marion North Commercial TIF district.
I'd second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 7C.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 4046, adopting tax increment allocation financing for the third amendment to the Marion North Commercial TIF District.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, 7D requires a little bit more discussion. I'll ask Cody to walk us through it. He gave us a great explanation in the packet, but this is contemplating establishing a new TIF district, and it's specific for some housing development that requires pretty substantial amount of infrastructure work, which is ideal for TIF, frankly.
Yep.
So I'll let you speak to it. This has mainly to do with a nearly half-mile sewer extension, I think.
Yes, yeah, so developers of the map that I attached to your packet had reached out contemplating a residential development on this piece of property. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of 35 acres, something like that. And the goal would be mainly single-family homes. They may sprinkle a couple of multifamily, but they were leaning heavily towards single-family homes. However, it requires a lift station and about a 2,200 foot sewer line extension to provide sewer to this property. With the county's ordinance of 1 acre lots, it doesn't pencil out to just do septic systems and 1 acre lots on this 30 acre tract. So we're wanting it in the city to be able to follow a little broader density rule that we have on our ordinances, and obviously the benefit of having city water and city sewer. So that's what this contemplates. I can speak to the last 6 years. We've never done a TIF for one user, so this is a little unique for us. We feel like it needs to benefit the greater good. So I did the most I could with this map by also allowing it to touch residential TIF 1. If there is a benefit to be had there from the city standpoint, we could share that benefit with residential TIF 1 if it came down to it. So the argument for not amending residential TIF 1 to include this is that we would have to go through this process that we just did on the North Commercial TIF, have a series of public meetings. However, we would have to send a certified mailing to everyone that lives within residential TIF 1, and I think, if I remember correctly, there's about 3,200 parcels in residential TIF 1. So as you can imagine, a certified letter to all of them would get rather expensive. So it's cheaper for the city to establish a new TIF in this respect if it qualifies, and so that's what my ask of you is, that you hire Jacob & Klein, as we have in the past, to help study that process, and if it is qualified, that we establish a TIF to help this developer add some much needed housing to the city.
Okay, I'll move to approve ordinance 4047, approving a professional services agreement with Jacob & Klein and the Economic Development Group for the establishment and administration of the Marion East TIF District.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on this? I have one question. You said 35 acres, and I didn't read through. I'm not even sure it's addressed here, but what's their contemplation? Is this multifamily housing? Is it single-family housing?
Mainly single family. The developer mentioned that he might like to hang on to a couple of multifamily units within that neighborhood, but he would mainly like it to be single family housing.
Okay.
Where is this located?
It is on the east edge of town, east of Norman Road, north of Route 13.
It's where that old
Basically where
access
that
used
old-
to be that they've shut off now. It's that big parcel right there, right?
And he spoke specifically to that, so IDOT owns that now. He would like to acquire that piece. In order to do so, IDOT will have to deed that to the county, and then he will have to acquire that from the county. That's correct.
The road bed
Yeah,
itself?
The road bed itself.
And that would be valuable to him to use as entrance to...
Likely that would be where the sewer easement would need to be for a
I
new
see.
sewer line and lift station, and so it would be beneficial to the project, as well as it could possibly be a retaining pond as well.
And IDOT has to deed it to the county because it's currently not incorporated? If that was...
It's currently owned by IDOT, but it's been abandoned as a roadway, obviously, so.
But I guess what I'm saying is if that parcel was in city limits already, Which that would have to be a subsequent action. Would it be deeded to the city then in that case, or is it just,
Possibly, yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
getting at?
I don't know, but he can acquire directly from IDOT. That was the lineage of
Oh,
that
I see.
conversation.
So this is not in city limits?
Currently, no, but they are working to make that happen, and TIF could not be established there until such time as it was
Right,
brought in.
that was my question.
Is there contiguity with city limits just on the west side of Norman then?
There is on
That's
the south side, yes.
south side of Norman.
Yes.
So it already does, other than the road, which you can skip,
Correct.
it is contiguous.
Yeah,
So that's just a simple petition. They petition the city and we approve
absolutely,
it.
but
Is
he's got to get a legal description drawn up and.
Right.
That piece of property to the west of this one, is that one owner on that map? It's not in city limits currently? Do we know
I
that?
believe that's the case, yes.
Okay.
I think it looks like about maybe 5 PIN numbers or
Yeah.
6 PIN numbers.
Yeah.
I believe all of that is one owner.
Okay.
At that homestead that's basically smack dab in the
Yeah,
center of that
yeah.
piece. Yeah.
If excuse me, if I remember right, the northeast portion of this property is a little bit low as well as the
Mainly
southeast.
the entire east portion of the property
Yeah.
is low, yeah.
Has he checked flood maps and
Um,
being able to build in there?
We
Because I know.
we did look at the flood maps. There is a small portion. It's all buildable. It's not floodway,
Okay,
but you would have to get an engineering certificate to that point.
that was my question.
He also talked about making that, mainly that southeast portion, his retaining pond portion.
Yeah, yeah.
Given that it's already low,
Yeah.
that could make a lot of sense.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Okay, item 7E, as predicted, it looks like our grant process is in full motion. I don't know how many are on this list exactly, but about 25 or so,
I
maybe.
think about 37.
Oh,
So
oh,
was this-
misjudged.
yeah.
So these are a mixture between TIF 1, TIF 2, and Hub TIF. You see in your list there, a total of $357,000 in project costs, $175,000 in grant amounts. So that'd be my motion to approve the TIF grant applications as listed in our packet, received through May 22nd, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any questions on any of these or comments? Is it going pretty much as you expected, or any shift in the demand in this on anything of
No, it doesn't
note?
seem to be. I have been getting a few more questions about water and sewer lines that we added this year, so I think that may turn out to be a welcomed addition. But for the most part, it's been pretty much status quo.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 7F, you want to walk us through this, Cody?
Yeah, so as part of this round of ITEP funding, which I believe was the 2023 round that the city received, this builds out another portion of the Crab Orchard Greenway. And as we often do with IDOT projects, we have to adopt a resolution dedicating that the city will pay its portion of its share of this project, which equates to $269,188. The total project cost is, I believe, north of 2.6 million, so it's a 90-10. Our 269,000 compared to the total project cost of $2.691 million.
We'll pay for this, I believe, out of funds allocated in the project fund. We anticipated this, but do you know, these ITEP things are so delayed as to when we actually get billed. Do we have a sense of what fiscal year that will actually end up being in, so that I budget that
It'll
correctly?
probably be over the course of this fiscal year and next fiscal year. The issue was we had a hard time acquiring necessary right-of-way from the company that owns the building that FedEx is occupying. And so technically this should already be under construction, but I believe all of those acquisitions have happened and it's supposed to be on the June letting. So I think construction will start, later this summer and hopefully wrap up sometime next year. I don't know if that'll be before the end of the fiscal year or not.
But it could hit this budget year.
Some of it is likely to hit this budget year, yes.
Okay. Someone want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion. I move that we adopt the resolution 2025-09 to construct a new multi-use trail from the VA hospital to the Crab Orchard Greenway at Westminster Drive.
I would second that.
Any questions or comments on 7F? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stefan,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Commissioner reports, we'll start with Commissioner Patton tonight.
I'm good this week or this meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Barwick?
I don't have anything other than just want to say that our emergency response teams did a great job a week ago Friday, and give them kudos, police, fire, EMS. Good job.
Okay. Commissioner Steckland?
Got a few things. Since last report, the water department reports 5 meter pits were repaired or replaced, 5 water leaks repaired, 1 service was updated, 4 brand new water taps, 3 fire hydrants were repaired, 1 fire hydrant replaced. Double trivia tonight since it's the last one of the month. So first one, what animal drinks the most water? Giraffes, cows, hippos, or deer?
Camel's not one of them, huh?
Camel is not on there.
Water buffalo's not one.
No. Pick one of those 4, please.
Okay, so what are the choices again? Deer?
Giraffes, cows, hippos, or deer?
Giraffe.
Giraffe, okay. No.
Hippo.
No. No.
Deer.
No. Cows. Cows drink the most water per pound of body weight, potentially consuming up to 100 gallons of water a day during the summer. That's a lot of water. So, cows. All right. On the flip side of that, which of these animals does not drink any water? Desert rats, snakes, koala bears, or groundhogs?
Snakes.
No. Sorry.
Thought everything had to drink water. Apparently
There's
not.
actually 2 correct answers to this question. The desert rat eats seeds and other dry food, which provides them the moisture they need. They can also extract water from the fat in their food, especially creating water internally. The other one is the koala bear. Koala means not to drink, and they rarely drink water, as the majority of their water intake comes from eating fresh eucalyptus leaves. So, now you can sleep better tonight. That's all I got.
Commissioner Webb?
Yeah, we've been, street department's been working on sidewalks on College Street, future streets, still picking up limbs from the relentless storms that's coming through the area. Talking to Doug today, we've taken in over 700 loads of brush already from the tornado. I don't have a good handle if that's just a start or how many more is to come, but
Just to start.
yeah, that's what it looks like, because the roads I thought were clear, you drive back through and they look just as full. So, but anyway, just a great job at the street department and their response, a quick response, and I know what other departments as well. We all had family, close family, or we had friends, or both involved in that. So, just it was great to see the community come together and help one another. So, apart from that, we've been mowing right of ways and street sweeping. All's good at the cemetery. We had a lot of rain this year. I think it's a record amount of rain in April, and for the conditions, I think the cemetery looked really well. I looked it over pretty close. You can see some track marks, but I think they tried to do as good as they could. The areas they couldn't ride, they would weed eat, so it actually added more labor to us to try to get it up to standard, but it looked good, and I appreciate everything they did. That's all I have.
Okay. Under miscellaneous, I alluded earlier to give Cody an opportunity, but I want to, before I forget, we had a great Memorial Day ceremony yesterday at Rose Hill. One of the things I spoke to there that I'm going to take the opportunity to do so again here. This organization, which is the VFW Honor Guard, is one that's very close to me. And so I've got a personal stake in this. I suppose I've off and on played taps for them, and I'm an honorary member of that honor guard since 1985. This is the 40th year that I've played taps, literally since high school. In full disclosure, in high school, I did it so that I could get out of school. But over the years, I've learned what an honor it is to play for them. But the honor guard is thinning in its ranks and becoming more and more difficult for them to be able to perform the 60 or so funerals that they do each year. And that diminishment of personnel is not representative of the diminishment and the need and the honor of the respect due to those that still need that last full measure of respect shown to them. So one of the remarks I made, or part of the remarks that I made yesterday in that ceremony, was to invite people from the community that had similar heart for that, and to tell them, which I don't think anybody knows, that you do not have to be a veteran of a foreign war in order to be a member of that honor guard. And so there's lots of people that are military, served in the military, people that haven't served in the military. It just requires some time and some effort. You don't obviously have to attend all 60, but they really need some help. Even yesterday, they had a hard time finding the 7 people needed to fire the 21 volleys. So I just want to make that known and make that plea again. I do not want to see this organization diminished to the point of not being able to do the duties that they've done so well for so long. So just making that plea. I'm hoping that the paper picks that up and publishes that out there. And remind me, Cody, of the new commander at the VFW's name. John Simpson is the commander at the VFW. Another person that's been on the honor guard for a long time is Ray Hancock, which many of you know. So if there's anybody out there that thinks they could devote a little bit of their time to be a part of this most sacred tradition in our community, please reach out to one of those people, John Simpson or Ray Hancock. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you and replenish their ranks in order to perform that duty. Cody, I know you had something you wanted to address.
Well, in speaking to that too, John came and spoke to me today. The VFW is doing a Independence Day celebration this year on Saturday, July 5th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the lodge on Long Street. And it's supposed to be a fundraiser for them for the year. They are doing a fireworks display that night as well. They asked the city for a donation. We had not budgeted for that, so part of my reason to come to you tonight is to ask if you would consider that, and we can discuss maybe at the next meeting what that amount should be. Please get with me between now and then if you're on board with that, and we can discuss how we can make that happen for them.
Is that for the VFW post in general or the honor guard specifically, did they say?
VFW
The
post in general, correct.
And did they ask a specific amount?
They did not, but they told me how much the firework display was, which was $12,000. So anything we can do to help with that is what their ask would be.
Okay.
And I think specifically the firework display is covered, and I think it has to be covered by one person for insurance purposes. So they've had a donation come in from a local construction company to cover that in full. But any other donations they could receive would help with that event. But it's the easiest thing to ask for in relation to
So
the event.
any donation we give basically is just directly supporting the VFW
Correct.
post?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think we need to suggest an amount. And either, I assume it's under my spending limit, I could approve it, I just don't know, I don't know what we're contemplating here. Are we talking about $1,000, are we talking about $500, are we talking about what?
Let's say 1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that? Okay.
I'll make it so.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, so I wanted to speak a little bit on the tornado May 16th. So had a personal experience with that, and I wanted to share with you all that a couple of things that came out of that night that I was able to recognize in the heat of the moment. So my parents lived in the path of the tornado. They lost their home. And in the process of getting them to safety that night, getting them out from their property and into a safe place, ran across all the first responders I think that we all interact with on a daily basis, and I just wanted to give some kudos if that's okay. First, United Ambulance, If you recall, 5.5 years ago, we decided to contract with them for our EMS service. On foot, they had 2 paramedics that I know at least walked 1 mile to check on, I'm guessing, every home in the path of that tornado from Market Street east. My parents were one of those. They came walking up on foot, knowing that they crawled over, under, whatever it may have been to get there. So I wanted to give kudos to Mike Willis and his team at United Ambulance out of Marion. He told me after the fact that they had 26 ambulances on site that night, 26 different units in town, in the path that at least was in Williamson County. Units responded from as far north as Salem to assist with that, so kudos to them. Marion Fire Department, Chief Barnett specifically, Assistant Chief Burford, Captain Chad Schmid, and Hunter Odom all assisted my family that night and countless other families. There was even a Heron Fire Department employee on site, Logan Phillips. And then, of course, the Marion Street Department, and Chief Barnett and I were having this conversation this morning. We were the first organization on site with any kind of heavy equipment to move trees so that they could get in and do their jobs. And so without the Marion Street Department that night, I don't know how long it would have been before people could have been recovered and found, and I mean, it could have been a lot worse. So I just wanted to give kudos to those groups and let you know that in the event of catastrophe, we're in very, very good hands. And I just wanted to say that publicly, so thank you.
Okay, anything else to come before the council under miscellaneous? Anybody have a need for a closed session this evening? Okay, hearing no need, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay, thank you all.